You suffer when something leaves, and the intensity of that suffering reveals how deeply you believed it belonged to you. The pain comes from the story of possession, from the belief that what was present was yours to keep. Nothing actually belongs to you. Your body is aging right now, the people around you are changing, circumstances are shifting. Everything moves, everything transforms, everything eventually departs. Yet you live as if permanence were possible, as if holding tight enough could stop the flow. This creates a particular kind of suffering that has nothing to do with the events themselves. The suffering emerges from the gap between what you believe should be permanent and what reality demonstrates is temporary. Imagine someone lends you something for a day. You use it, enjoy it, return it at the end. There's no drama because you always knew it was temporary. The expectation matched the reality. Now imagine someone gives you that same thing, telling you it's yours to keep. You attach to it, you build identity around it, you create memories with it. Years later, it disappears. The pain is intense, overwhelming, disorienting. What changed? The object remained the same. What shifted was your relationship to it, the story you told about ownership, permanence, belonging. This pattern applies to everything. Your health exists on loan. Your youth passes through you temporarily. Your relationships are encounters in time, not permanent possessions. Your money flows in and out. Your circumstances shift constantly. All of it is borrowed, temporary, all of it will change or leave or end. The suffering comes from forgetting this fundamental truth. You operate as if you were eternal. As if the people you love will never leave. As if good moments could be frozen and preserved. As if you had a guarantee that what exists today will exist tomorrow. But reality doesn't negotiate with your expectations, it simply moves. Time doesn't slow down, it's carrying everything away right now, in this moment, as you breathe. Your body is a process, continuously changing. Skin renews itself. Cells die and are replaced. In a few years, nearly every physical component you call me will be different. So who is this permanent self you're trying to protect? People change their minds, change locations, change feelings. Places that seem eternal today will transform tomorrow. And you're also in motion, even when you don't notice it. The idea of permanence feels comforting. It provides a sense of stability, control, predictability. But comfort based on illusion creates suffering when reality reasserts itself. Whatever begins already contains its end. The flower that blooms is already moving toward wilting. The smile happening now is already becoming a memory. The intense love that emerges carries within it the possibility of transformation or separation. This is how life functions. The universe operates through continuous change. Resisting this fundamental pattern is like trying to stop a river from flowing, exhausting, futile, and the source of tremendous suffering. You can spend your entire life fighting against impermanence, demanding that things stay as they are, insisting that what you love should never change. Or you can recognize the pattern and learn to move with it. When you say, "This is mine," who exactly is claiming ownership? The person you were 10 years ago doesn't exist anymore. Your thoughts have changed. Your fears have shifted. Your desires have transformed. The child you were is gone, the teenager is gone, even yesterday's version of you has dissolved. So when you claim, "This belongs to me," which me are you referring to? The one from the past who no longer exists? The one in the present who is already changing. The imagined future one who hasn't arrived. The sense of a permanent self who can own permanent things is itself an illusion. Both the owner and the owned are temporary phenomena, appearing briefly before dissolving back into the flow of change. Every time you grasp at something, trying to make it permanent, trying to secure it as yours, you create tension. The grasping itself is suffering. The tighter you hold, the more you suffer, because reality keeps demonstrating that nothing can be held. You attach to a relationship, trying to freeze it in its current form. But people grow, change, evolve. The relationship that exists today won't exist in the same form tomorrow. Your attachment creates suffering as you resist the natural evolution. You attach to your career identity, building your sense of self around what you do. Then circumstances shift, markets change, companies restructure, interests evolve. The attachment creates crisis because you believed something temporary was permanent. You attach to your youth, your appearance, your physical capabilities. Then time does what time does. The attachment transforms natural aging into psychological suffering. The attachment itself is the problem. What you're attached to will change regardless. The attachment just adds suffering to inevitable change. Every form of suffering you've ever experienced, or are experiencing right now, comes from attachment. You might not notice it, but you're attached to everything, from the smallest things in your daily life to the biggest ones. And that's your weak point. The key is becoming aware of where you're holding on, noticing it in real time. That awareness is the first step toward developing what I call the divine art of detachment, something that will make your entire existence feel lighter and effortless. Your relationships improve, your mind becomes quieter, the way you relate to yourself also changes, because you're no longer in constant resistance, and you actually begin to feel a deeper sense of self-respect and self-love. I put all of this into a complete ebook where I go deep into how attachment really works and how to actually detach in a real, practical way. This is not something most people ever truly learn, but once you see it, it changes everything. I'll leave it in the pinned comment. There's a way to engage fully with life without the suffering of attachment. You can love deeply without needing to own. You can appreciate intensely without needing to preserve. You can participate completely without needing to control outcomes. Think of watching a sunset. You don't try to capture it in a jar. You don't argue with the sky because the colors are fading. You simply witness it while it happens. There's no desperation when it ends because you never believed it would last forever. What if you related to everything this way? Appreciating while present, releasing when it changes, not demanding permanence from what is inherently temporary. When you truly understand that nothing belongs to you, a strange freedom emerges. There's nothing to defend. Nothing to protect at all costs. Nothing to desperately cling to. Just experiences arising and passing, relationships forming and transforming, circumstances shifting and evolving. Most of your psychological suffering comes from defending imaginary ownership. You suffer trying to protect what was never actually yours. You exhaust yourself attempting to control what has never been within your control. The job you think is yours. The company could eliminate it tomorrow. The relationship you think is yours. The other person has their own will, their own path, their own evolution. The health you think is yours. Bodies age, circumstances change, accidents happen. None of it was ever yours to control. The belief in ownership created the illusion of control. The illusion of control created the suffering when reality demonstrated otherwise. When someone leaves, when something ends, when circumstances shift, these events hurt. Loss involves pain. But examine the suffering carefully. The pain comes from the belief that what left belonged to you, that it should have stayed, that you had some right to its permanence. Remove that belief and something shifts. The sadness of change remains, but the desperate suffering of violated ownership dissolves. Everything exists in motion. Trying to create islands of permanence in this flow is the source of suffering. You can't freeze anything. You can't make any moment last forever. You can't guarantee that what exists today will exist tomorrow. But you can participate in the flow without resisting it. You can engage with what's present without demanding it stay present. You can appreciate what's here without adding the suffering of attachment. Your health right now, appreciate it, care for it, knowing it will change. The people in your life right now, connect with them, value them, recognizing these relationships are temporary encounters. Your current circumstances, work with them, engage with them, understanding they will transform. When you stop fighting impermanence, when you stop trying to own what cannot be owned, when you release the exhausting attempt to make the temporary permanent, life becomes lighter. Not because circumstances improve, but because you're no longer adding the weight of attachment to every experience. You're no longer creating suffering through impossible demands for permanence. Notice what you're holding on to right now. What are you convinced you couldn't live without? What person, situation, circumstance, identity feels so essential that losing it seems unbearable? Sit with that. Imagine it changing or leaving. Notice the fear that arises. That fear reveals how tightly you're gripping, how deeply you believe in ownership, how much suffering you're creating through attachment. The fear often exaggerates reality. The actual loss, when it comes, rarely destroys you the way your imagination suggests. You discover you're more resilient than the fear acknowledged. This is about recognizing that what you're holding was never yours to begin with. The release is truthful. You're recognizing that ownership was always an illusion. When you finally grasp that nothing is yours, everything becomes precious in a different way. Each moment becomes valuable precisely because it's temporary. Each encounter becomes significant because it won't repeat exactly this way. If you knew tomorrow was your last day with someone you love, would you waste time in petty arguments? Would you let pride create distance? Or would you be fully present, appreciating what's here while it's here? The awareness of impermanence intensifies the value. When you know something is temporary, you stop taking it for granted. You stop assuming infinite repetition. You engage with what's present because you recognize it won't always be. This creates a particular quality of attention. You're here, now, fully, because you understand that now is all you actually have. The past is gone. The future is uncertain. Only this moment is real, is present, is available. And this moment, when you're not trying to own it or preserve it or make it permanent, becomes enough. Simply what it is, appearing briefly, then dissolving back into the flow of change. Everything you think you own is actually owning you. The things you believe you possess are possessing your peace, your freedom, your ability to simply be here without constant anxiety about loss. When you release the illusion of ownership, when you stop trying to make the temporary permanent, when you open your hands and let life flow through them rather than trying to trap it in your fists, freedom appears. Freedom to engage without desperation. Freedom to love without fear. Freedom to participate without needing to control outcomes. Freedom to be here, now, without the constant background anxiety of protecting imaginary possessions. You were never meant to be a fortress defending treasures. You were meant to be open space through which experience moves. Trying to be the fortress creates all the suffering. Being the space allows everything while clinging to nothing. This is the shift available right now. Stop trying to own what cannot be owned. Stop demanding permanence from what is inherently temporary. Stop creating suffering through attachment to the ungraspable. Open your hands. Let what's here be here. Let what leaves, leave. Participate fully while holding nothing. Love deeply while possessing no one. This is how you engage with life without the constant suffering of attachment. This is how you live in the flow rather than fighting against it. Nothing belongs to you. Everything is temporary. And recognizing this truth is the beginning of freedom.